Have you ever been driving down the highway, minding your own business, when suddenly your rearview mirror is filled with the grill of a massive, brand new pickup truck? You know the one I am talking about. It is lifted, it has chrome rims, pristine paint, and leather seats that probably cost more than your first apartment. As it roars past you, you catch a glimpse of the driver. Maybe he looks like a regular guy. Maybe he is wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. And for a split second, a thought crosses your mind. You think, man, that guy must be doing really well. He must be rich. He must have figured something out that I haven't. But I am here to tell you the uncomfortable, mathematical truth. That guy is likely not rich. In fact, statistically speaking, he is probably broke. He is likely drowning in a financial hole so deep that he won't see the sunlight for the next decade. Welcome to the modern American automotive crisis. We are living in a time where looking wealthy has become more important than actually being wealthy. We have normalized a system where middle-class families are signing away their freedom, their retirement, and their peace of mind, all for the privilege of driving a heated living room on wheels. Today, we are going to deconstruct this financial disaster. We are going to look at how regular people are tricked into signing contracts that ruin their lives. We are going to expose the dirty secrets of car dealerships, and we are going to do the math that proves why your neighbor with the shiny new truck is actually the poorest person on your street. Let's start with the raw numbers, because numbers don't lie. The average new car payment in America has now crossed the $700 mark. But that is just the average. When you look specifically at the trucks and SUVs that dominate our highways, the numbers are truly shocking. It is becoming standard to see payments of $1,200 a month. Think about that for a second. $1,200 every single month. That used to be a mortgage payment on a nice 3-bedroom house not too long ago. Now it is just the cost of getting to work. How did we get here? How did we convince ourselves that paying $15,000 a year for a depreciating asset was a good idea? The answer lies in the loan term. 20 years ago, the standard car loan was 36 or 48 months. That made sense. You bought a car, you paid it off quickly, and then you drove it payment-free for years. That is how your parents built wealth. But today, car prices have skyrocketed. Manufacturers kept raising prices, adding technology, adding screens, adding sensors. The price of a new truck went from $30,000 to $80,000. The banks realized that nobody could afford an $80,000 truck on a 3-year loan. The monthly payment would be over $2,000. Nobody would buy it. So instead of lowering the price of the car, they extended the length of the loan. First, it went to 60 months, then 72. Now 84 and 96-month loans are common. That is 7 or 8 years of debt. When you sign an 84-month loan, you are effectively chained to that vehicle for nearly a decade. Think about where you were 8 years ago. Think about how much your life has changed. Now imagine if you were still paying for the same car you bought back then. A car that is now old, rusted, and breaking down, but you are still paying $500 a month for it. This brings us to the second trap, the monthly payment illusion. When you walk into a dealership, a well-trained salesperson will sit you down. They will offer you water. They will be very nice. And then they will ask you the most dangerous question in personal finance. They will ask, "What monthly payment are you looking for?" Do not answer this question. This question is a trap. The moment you say, "I want to pay about $600 a month," they have won. They will take that number and they will manipulate the length of the loan and the interest rate to fit any car they want into that budget. You might think you are negotiating. You might think you are getting a deal. But in reality, they are just stretching the loan out longer to lower the payment. They are hiding the total cost of the car. You might end up paying $60,000 for a car that is worth $40,000. Just because they got the monthly payment to hit your target. Dealerships use a tool called the 4 square. It is a psychological trick. They draw a cross on a piece of paper, creating 4 boxes. One box is the trade-in value, one is the purchase price, one is the down payment, and one is the monthly payment. They confuse you by moving numbers between these boxes. If you complain the price is too high, they lower the price but raise the interest rate. If you complain the down payment is too high, they lower it but extend the loan term. It is a shell game, and the house always wins. But the most insidious part of this system is something called negative equity. This is the financial cancer that is destroying the middle class. Here is how it happens. You buy a brand new car for $50,000. You take out a 7-year loan. The moment you drive that car off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. Boom. $10,000 gone in 10 seconds. 2 years later, you get bored. You want the new model. Or maybe you realize the gas mileage is terrible. So you go back to the dealer to trade it in. But here is the problem. You still owe $40,000 on the loan, but the car is only worth $30,000. You are underwater by $10,000. A smart person would keep the car and pay it off. But we are emotional creatures. We want the new shiny toy. The dealer says, "No problem. We will just take that $10,000 you owe, and we will add it to the loan for the new car." So now you are buying a $60,000 truck, plus the $10,000 you still owe on the old car. You are taking out a $70,000 loan for a $60,000 vehicle. People do this 2, 3, 4 times in a row. Eventually, they are driving a car worth $50,000, but they have a loan for $90,000. They are completely trapped. They can never sell the car because they don't have the cash to cover the difference. They are slaves to the bank until the day the loan is paid off, or until they declare bankruptcy. Now let's talk about the psychology behind this. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we voluntarily sign up for financial slavery? It is because we have been brainwashed to believe that our car is our identity. Marketing companies have spent billions of dollars to convince you that if you drive a rugged truck, you are a rugged, successful man. If you drive a luxury SUV, you are a sophisticated, successful parent. They are not selling you 4 wheels and an engine. They are selling you a feeling. They are selling you the fantasy of who you want to be. You see the commercial of the truck climbing a mountain, towing a boat, conquering the wilderness. And you think, yes, that is me. I am an adventurer. So you buy the truck. But the reality is, you work in an office. The only mountain you climb is the parking garage ramp. The only thing you tow is your own ego. You're paying $1,000 a month for a capability you will never use. We are buying things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. It is the phenomenon of looking rich versus being rich. Your neighbor with the $80,000 truck looks rich. But if he lost his job tomorrow, he would lose the truck in 3 months. That is not wealth. That is fragility. True wealth is invisible. True wealth is a paid-off house. True wealth is a retirement account growing in the background. True wealth is the peace of mind of knowing that if your car breaks down, you can write a check to fix it without stressing. But you can't show off a retirement account at a traffic light. You can't rev the engine of a paid-off mortgage. So we choose the shiny object instead of the secure future. And we haven't even talked about the hidden costs yet. The loan payment is just the entry fee to the club. Let's talk about insurance. Insuring a luxury truck or a high-performance SUV is expensive. If you are under 30, or if you have a couple of tickets, you could easily be paying $300 a month just for insurance. Then there is gas. These massive vehicles are heavy. They drink fuel. If you have a commute, you are easily spending $300 or $400 a month on gas. Then there is maintenance. A set of tires for a large truck can cost $1,500. An oil change is $100. If a sensor breaks, it is $500. When you add it all up, that $1,000 car payment is actually costing you $2,000 a month. $2,000. Every single month. Now, I want you to use your imagination. I want you to imagine what your life would look like if you didn't have that payment. Imagine you drove a simple, reliable 5-year-old car. A Toyota or a Honda. You paid cash for it, or you paid it off quickly. Now take that $2,000 a month that you were sending to Ford or GM or the bank, and instead, you invest it. You put $2,000 a month into a simple S&P 500 index fund. And you do that for the same amount of time you would have been paying for trucks. Let's say 30 years of your working life. Do you know how much money you would have? At an average return of 8 to 10%, you would have over $4 million. Let that sink in. $4 million. That is the opportunity cost of driving a new car. You are literally driving your retirement down the road, and it is losing value every single mile. You are trading a multi-million-dollar future for heated seats today. You are trading financial freedom for a sunroof. Is it worth it? Is looking cool at the stoplight worth working an extra 10 years before you can retire? Most people never do this math. They just look at the monthly payment and ask, can I make this payment this month? If the answer is yes, they sign the paper. They live paycheck to paycheck, stressed out, terrified of losing their job, all because they have committed their future income to a piece of metal and plastic. So what is the solution? How do we escape this trap? First, you have to break the emotional attachment to your car. It is not your identity. It is a tool. It gets you from point A to point B. That is it. If your car defines your self-worth, you need to work on your self-esteem, not your credit score. Second, you need to follow the rules of responsible buying. If you must buy a car, follow the 20th of April 10 rule. Put at least 20% down. This prevents you from being underwater on the loan the moment you drive off the lot. Take a loan for no more than 4 years. If you cannot afford the payments on a 4-year loan, you cannot afford the car. Do not stretch it to 7 years just to make the payment look smaller. That is a lie you are telling yourself. And finally, make sure your total transportation costs, including insurance and gas, are no more than 10% of your monthly income. If you make $4,000 a month, your total car budget is $400, not a penny more. This might mean you can't drive the brand new truck. This might mean you have to drive a used sedan. This might mean you don't look as cool as your neighbor. But remember, your neighbor is broke. Your neighbor is stressed. Your neighbor is one bad month away from the repo man taking his truck in the middle of the night. You are building freedom. There is a specific feeling you get when you drive a paid-off car. It drives differently. The air conditioning feels colder. The music sounds better because it is yours. The bank doesn't own the steering wheel. You do. When you don't have a car payment, you have options. You can quit a job you hate. You can start a business. You can travel. You can invest. You reclaim your life. The automotive industry is betting against you. They are betting that you are vain. They are betting that you are bad at math. They are betting that you care more about what strangers think of you than you care about your own freedom. Do not let them win. The next time you pull up to a red light and look over at that massive $80,000 truck towering over you, don't feel jealous. Don't feel inadequate. Look at the driver and feel pity. Understand the burden he is carrying. Understand the stress he goes home to. Smile. Pat the dashboard of your paid-off car and drive away knowing that you are winning the only game that actually matters. The game of financial freedom. If you found value in this breakdown, if it opened your eyes to the trap we are all living in, please share this with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that like button to help the algorithm spread the truth. And subscribe if you want to join the minority of people who are actually waking up. My name is Alex. This is Invests with Alex. And I will see you on the other side.